around the nation, for the first time in a long time, Baltimore hosts the CIAA Tournament. And the jumpers were falling and the champions were crowned. But there was a whole lot more going on this HBCU roadie. The bus is parked and we're hanging out. It's the HBCU Sports Nation and we're tipping off from the CIAA Tournament right now.
Black Island move. Ride, come on. Black College, stand up. HBCU.
They clean up for one last time inside the original version of the Royal Farms Arena. After a $200 million investment, this will be a new building when we get back to Baltimore for year 2 of the CIAA Tournament run here in Charm City. It's the HBCU OG Mark Gray holding things down after the CIAA Tournament, where you had 2 interesting storylines. Lincoln University on the women's side wins their first CIAA championship, having joined the conference 5 years ago. Meanwhile, one of the blue bloods in the conference in Virginia Union couldn't get it done despite a spirited effort by a great player. It was Fayetteville State who overcame COVID adversity to win the men's championship. So championship Saturday not only was about great basketball, it was truly a great HBCU scene. 2 first-year coaches met in the women's championship game, and boy did they have their teams playing well. Elizabeth City State at 21-7 came in to take on a Lincoln team that was playing with heavy hearts, and they got a big performance from Brianna Brown. She drops 28 points and gets 6 rebounds, and leading the Lady Lions to their first championship with a 67-52 victory over Elizabeth City State. Elizabeth City State gave it all that they could, but Syrian's hits 15 points wasn't enough, along with her 14 rebounds, as it would be Lincoln who cut down the nets. This is Trace Pinson, the athletic director at Lincoln University,
Yes,
first CIAA basketball championship, first championship since coming into the league like 5 years ago. What does it mean for the university?
Well, it means everything. This team has shown so much resilience, and they're playing for Deasia Young, one of our fallen Lions that was last here at the CIAA Tournament. So it means everything. The Lincoln community has been fighting to try to get back to the pinnacle, and we're coming, and we're here.
What does this do, this moment right here, right now, for the program?
Oh, it means everything. It cements the legacy of the Lincoln Lions. So, you know, it's all the things that we've been working for. 4.5 years ago, I got here, and I wanted to bring a ring here for Lincoln, and we've done it.
You now made your impact in the CIAA. There were a lot of people, certainly in other places in the conference, that wondered, A, why would you bring Lincoln in? B, how are they going to sustain themselves? Talk about the questions that have been answered in this moment.
But first and foremost, we have great leadership in Dr. Brenda Allen. And second of all, you know, we're the first HBCU, the most northern HBCU outside of Cheney that's right down the street. So we wanted to make sure that we cemented our spot within the HBCU community and get back to the CIAA as a founding member and to come back to the CIAA. So it just cements everything.
And you mentioned how emotionally important it was for this moment. COVID, losing an athlete, all the mental and psychological things that you had to go through. Can you give us a sense of emotionally what this says about the character of the ladies and in this program and how they got you to this moment?
Hey, they fight to the end. They've been through so much. They've been on so many highs and lows, just the Lincoln community as a whole. But these ladies in particular, having to fight through COVID, losing a teammate. It's 6 ladies on this team that played with Deasia Young, and they won it for her. And you know, it just cements all stick together and to be champions, it means everything.
You know, it was said in the NBA that teams don't win championships, organizations too. This would be like the general manager who put the parts in place, my brother. I know you got it. It's going to be tough for y'all to get it back. Congratulations to Lincoln, the 2022 CIAA Women's Tournament champs. Best of luck. Hey, go over there and get yourself that net.
I appreciate it.
And I'll see you the next time I'm in Pennsylvania.
All right.
That's the story from the women's matchup. The men are next to follow, and we're all over it. On the men's side, Virginia Union and Fayetteville State win bucket for 3/4 of the game. And early on, it looked like Robert Osborne was going to be a one-man band who could carry his team to the CIAA championship. The Panthers' all-star forward drops 25 and grabs 16 boards, but it wasn't enough. Balanced scoring and the leadership of Zion Cousins, 9 points and 13 rebounds, really paced an attack that had 3 players in double figures. And when the money was on the line, Fayetteville State clamped down defensively, they executed offensively, and at the end they would cut down the nets. Luke DeLessio becomes one of the few coaches who could win 2 championships in the conference at different schools, and finally he erases the bad taste with a 65-62 W to claim his second CIAA title.
I mean, to be a team like Virginia Union, it's very difficult to do. You know, they're well coached. They have a system that goes back like 30 years. They got a really, really talented team. And I knew pretty much halfway through the year that us and them will probably meet. I hate to say it in this championship. I thought we were the best 2 teams in the CIAA. And we had to go through a lot. They had to go through a lot. And this is a perfect ending for me. Winning this game in Maryland. Be great, and these players, like I said before, Jalen Seegers and Darren Dixon, they're the most 2 important recruits I ever got at Fayetteville. They took a chance on me when the program wasn't too good before that. And I don't know how we won the game, honestly, except we just have a lot of heart. We played hard. When I look at these stats, they shot 30 more shots than we did. They got, I think, 26 offensive rebounds. We turned the ball over 21 times, but we stuck in there and we kept their percentages down on defense. We did a good job. So it's great for the players and great for the school. They deserve it. It's been too long.
Coach, 2 questions. You kind of hinted on it. Yesterday we talked about the turnovers, 20 yesterday, then today 21. I know you said you wanted to keep that number under 12, but you came out with the win. So what do you think you guys did that really, made the difference turning the ball over that much? I mean, they scored 24 off of those turnovers.
Yeah, the biggest thing with our team, we're a really, really good half-court defensive team. Always been. The only thing that's plagued us a little bit is live ball turnovers. Like if we were up 7, and then I think Karan gets bumped a little bit, he throws the ball. I'd rather have him step out of bounds or throw the ball out of bounds, because once our defense is set, it's hard to score on us. But when you're giving up live ball turnovers, they really hurt us. Like I said, when I look at these stats, it's hard to believe we did what we had to do. But these guys wanted it for really 2 years now. Especially these 2. We've been building on this for 2 years, waiting and waiting and waiting. And I told them they're so lucky because they got a second opportunity. The seniors on that team, Raymond Pratt, Will, Denzel, they didn't get a second opportunity. These 2 got a second opportunity to sort of make it right, and they came through for us.
1, 2, 3, hit it. Black out is move. Ride, come on. Black College, stand up. HBCU.
Upon further review, there is no better place for basketball than Baltimore and the DMV. Just look at the NBA. More players from this area than any other regional community throughout the United States. There are more Division I basketball players throughout any area than there is in the United States. So don't get it twisted. When it comes to basketball hotbeds, Baltimore historically has never had to take a back seat to anybody. Historically speaking, you can remember the great days of Dunbar High School, Reggie Williams, David Wingate, the late Reggie Lewis. The list of star players goes all the way back to the years of Skip Wise and Ernie Graham. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even into the days of Rudy Gay and Dwayne Farrell. A litany of pro basketball players have come out of this hot spot, which just means the perfect landing place after Charlotte was Charm City. And they did a great job. You didn't have to deal with all the traffic issues that you had in the Queen City, but most of all, you set a tone for the future. And it looked so promising as the CIAA Tournament takes its place here in Baltimore and calls it home for at least the next 2 years. The story from the latest HBCU roadie around the HBCU Sports Nation. And don't forget, you've never been to the CIAA Tournament. You definitely want to add it to your bucket list if you're an HBCU events fan. And while we had a great time in Cleveland last week for the HBCU Classic, there is no basketball classic better than the CIAA Tournament, which finds its home now in Baltimore. That closes the book on the CIAA Tournament. Thank you much for joining us on this week's edition of the HBCU Sports Nation. I'm the HBCU OG Mark Gray. Follow me Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Sports Groove. And I'll see you the next time we hit the road, and I hope to run into you around the HBCU Sports Nation. Deuces from Baltimore.